September 12th, 2019 Planning Board. The first item on the agenda is TMS Diesel, Route 77 and Rockland Roads, continued application from sometime around. Mr. Higginson. I'm a little frazzled here at the moment. I wasn't expecting to be gotten quick through.
We've got a letter from Meridian talking about the design of
The pond. To a 50-year storm.
Yes. Proposed detention pond receives runoff from the main parking area, building area for the proposed site. Total drainage area of the pond is 1.654 acres, with approximately 42% being impervious. The pond has been sized to convey flows generated by the 50-year storm event. The pond and outlet control structure has been designed to pass these flows while maintaining greater than 1 foot of freeboard below the top of the berm. Signed by Kevin Anderson, professional engineer.
Thank you.
We've, Zach, actually, the applicant, or owner, met with the fire chief, and he was cool with no cistern, and we'll revisit whatever is needed when building plans show up at the building permit phase. So as far as the planning phase, he's good.
I heard that rumor. Yes.
Yeah. There's a septic design. It is not stapled to the last sheet. Tucked off in the corner, just below the stone wall. Not a lot of those big trees that we were looking at have to go. The water table was extremely deep there.
I see it in the ground. It looks like it's in the ground. Right?
Yeah, very shocking to me. There was 3 feet down, there was a layer of sand. It was not something that I expected, but it was a delightful surprise. So we've got it down pretty good. There's some larger trees between it and the building that I think can probably stay that will help, and then the larger trees on the lower side that we were looking at aren't going to be affected. There are some trees that are going to come down for sure, but it's far more minimal than we thought when we were out there on site.
So you're basically going to have looking at the septic plan and the grading plan at the same time?
It's going to be a very deep pipe in the back.
Yes.
It will make gravity, but it's going to be very deep. Yep.
Okay. Because your pipe's going to be somewhere around 550
You got 554 coming out of the building.
It's like 7 feet.
at all? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. How far is the cleanout, for either cleanout from the property line?
Looks like about 40
50
feet. The setback's 50 feet, so we're,
Oh, this is 20 feet.
or
Okay, yeah, okay. 35 feet.
something like that, yep.
I did not get a chance to review Mr. Keach's letter. Are these, the comments in color were his comments?
Did you have colored?
Came in color, I didn't print
Oh,
it.
it came, yeah, so when I sent it, it was colored.
Yes, I didn't print it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, this printed does.
Red and green.
Yeah, I did that. The red was the stuff I addressed, and the green was the things that I needed the engineer to take care of, or wanted the engineer to take care of. And then I just figured it was the holiday season, so we'll just let it ride.
You knew you'd be back in December?
Is there anything in this letter we need to worry about?
I didn't think so.
I knew you wouldn't think so. I wasn't really asking you, but it's a rhetorical question.
Huh? I recall the last time, your biggest concern was the, on number 15, the stormwater management system inspection manual, which
Yes.
is included in it's section 4 of the drainage report. So we have it in there, so it's a part of the drainage report, which is a part of the plan. So we have that taken care of, and we added note 19 stating that.
Is it a little sticky note?
Thank you. That's the one yes. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
See, you had some trees.
Yep. From the site walk.
Yeah. That was in that thinly screened area.
Yep.
Where'd you at?
So it's cross-hatching a snow storage area, is that what you did?
Yep.
Not much of an area off the end of the parking lot. So this,
I think they probably it looks like they just took a 20-foot or so offset. I mean,
Yeah.
there's obviously more room off the end
yeah,
between the property line and the pond.
I know it's probably gonna happen, but I would prefer the snow storage area not be around the conveyance swale.
yeah, I was just gonna ask about that myself.
I mean, I know they're probably gonna plow it there anyway, but,
How do you stop them?
yeah, but it would be nice if it wasn't
I mean,
shown there
it's-
at least.
Certainly gonna be a snowbank there.
On that one side there between, oh,
Right by the entrance you're talking.
Nah, I was thinking more right in here. Conveyance well number 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Along the end of the parking?
Yeah,
Probably the 4 parking spaces around that area,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
down to the pipe.
the other end, by the entrance, you're a little further away from the
Yep,
buffer and setback. It's that conveyance well number 2 that you're close to.
yep, we can remove that.
You got silt fence shown in the wetland buffer there also. Conveyance swale 2,
What sheet was that on?
3. I know the grading's tight against the buffer right there, but the silt fence should definitely be
Yep.
At the edge of the buffer,
at the
yeah.
edge of the buffer, yes.
Otherwise, they'll grade right to the silt fence.
The only thing I really see is the silt fence. I'd like to see a C note 16 added underneath the potential one-way future drive. Just so everybody realizes it's not part of the plan set, or not part of this approval. You know what I mean? Note 16 says.
Yeah, yep. Yeah,
We'll
just
see
read.
note 16 underneath
Sure.
it. It's covered. Anybody else have anything? Anybody from the public like to speak? We sure? Close it for public comment.
Did you open it for public comment?
Hmm?
Did you open it for public
No,
comment?
I asked if they wanted to
Oh,
talk.
yeah, gotcha. Wasn't, yeah.
I do have the driveway permit from,
Oh, yeah, we got that too.
Oh, you got the driveway permit?
yes, but
But,
we still need a stone wall removal approval afterwards when you get ready, right?
We already addressed that.
You had a stone wall removal on the first driveway, and the applicant was Borough, but not you changing driveways now?
no?
No?
No, driveway's in the
No.
same spot.
Same driveway.
We definitely talked about this a couple meetings ago.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry then, because in 2017, there was an approval to remove a stone wall, but
Yeah.
I thought you.
Yeah, it's same driveway location. I think we talked about it, and it was either gonna be brought to the selectmen, or we deemed that it wasn't necessary, because it had already been done, but we definitely went over it at one point.
It has
Yeah.
been done by another applicant, but I wasn't sure if you were changing, no, okay. Okay. There's a minute in the pictures
You
in
just
the back.
confused me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
2010 was the application, and I think 27, so that top one is for TMS.
Yeah. October 15th.
And then it's the older one, is it under Borough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brill still owned it then. Brimley never bought it.
We recommended it be,
And then the selectmen minutes are in
Those
there.
don't expire, do they?
I didn't think they did. I think he's good. I don't know. If the selectmen approved it, I assume they did.
You both did, there's planning board minutes and selectmen
Oh, okay.
minutes, so
Then he's good to go with that. That doesn't,
so it doesn't have to go back. Okay.
I don't believe so.
We could do, move silt fence, revise the snow storage area a little bit.
Add a C note 16.
Did you get your septic approval yet?
Nope, it was just preliminary,
Silt,
but we'll
S-I-L-T.
certainly get that.
This is a, yeah, I'm gonna make a comment. I think, I'm not sure, I think I would like the wetland buffer laid out where you're gonna have grading next to it, where you're gonna have clearing next to it, I should say. Meaning,
Along conveyance swale 2.
well, really, you have to have it down here by the detention basin also. You gotta tight up against it with a set fence. That one, basically from there out to four. The 4 parking spaces, basically. Just to make sure you don't get the buffer. I think it'd be a good thing for the one to have that laid out before.
Here to here kind of thing.
Yeah, this little bit down here.
Yeah.
I think it might keep the applicant out of trouble. It's just that much of the edge of clearing. I don't know how to describe it right offhand, but
I mean, there's obviously gonna have to be layout done anyway, for the road and building and all that, so we're gonna be out there anyway.
yeah, I mean, the first thing that's gonna happen, I assume one of the first things that's gonna happen is gonna start clearing. And that's what you don't wanna do in the buffer. So you just flag that little bit ahead of time. Shouldn't take too much.
Yeah, it was pretty open.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no, I don't anticipate like a logging operation in there, it's more. it's
No,
all
but you're
pretty
gonna
small
start
stuff.
clearing.
Yeah. We'll make sure we say that.
Some of the sites I've been on, all of a sudden, poof, you start clearing and grubbing. It's like, Craig, come on out and lay out this, and then, poof, oh my God, what happened to all my control? The whole
Yeah.
site's a moonscape, and it happens.
I've got some control strategically tucked off the side.
Yeah, we have to do that, don't we? In the wetlands is a good place to put it.
So you want to add a note in the construction notes for that?
Yeah, I think it should be a note in the plan.
So, note number 20.
If we put it in the plan, everybody's gonna see it.
Okay. He's got his headings for his notes down at the bottom of the note. It's kind of different.
You like to think outside the box.
I can put my headings at the top of the notes.
Takes all types.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything in the construction sequence about that at all.
So you want that note in the construction sequence, not on page 1?
Well,
I think I did sheet one. myself. I think I've been sheet one. Should have been missing.
construction sequences,
I mean,
page
nothing
5.
personal, but I never look at the construction sequence. I don't know very many people that do, until you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
We can put it on sheet 1, that's fine.
So something to the effect of, the limits of clearing shall be, I just said laid out, from FES 2 to the 4 future parking spaces prior to any construction. Get from there to there. So what are we missing?
Adjacent to detention basin,
Layout limit of wetland buffer from FES 2 to 4 parking spaces.
adjacent to detention basin to
Yeah.
the 4 parking spaces?
I said
FES 2, yeah,
FES
yeah,
2.
yeah, yeah. Same thing, yeah. I got a quick question for the applicant, if he chooses to answer.
Sure.
You gonna get the site work all done before you occupy the building, or?
Yeah, no, we're trying to get everything, all the site work done over the winter.
Okay.
Early in the spring.
Well, the paving you won't get done in the winter.
No, we're hoping to have, if we can get it all done come springtime, we foundation poured, and start doing that, and we can do the asphalt and all that while that building's being
Okay, so you do plan on kind of having the paving in and everything before you,
Yeah, before you occupy.
yeah, okay,
All that's,
just checking.
we have a habit of not finishing stuff, so we wanna get everything done before we move it.
Well, that's why I'm asking. That's what happens. You get in and all of a sudden, all that stuff, you know, you get busy with other things.
Exactly. That's- We need it, but we don't need it right this second, so.
Right, right.
We mentioned last time the possibility of sticking a couple more trees down by the leach field. Well, we decided, I'm just bringing it up. I'm not suggesting it, just bringing it up.
How much is in that corner already now, Dan, do you know?
You remember when we were out there standing, kind of went down into a dip, and then on the low side of it, there was trees that had some canopy that we were kind of looking down on. So that all that canopy is still going to stay there. So I think anything that we put in there, it's going to be pretty shaded, and I don't think it's really going to be amount to a whole lot. And on that low side, I mean the leach field is substantially down lower than where the building is going to be.
Yeah, and you don't need the ballpark between the leach field and the building other than your lines, right?
So what's that?
It's- You don't need the ballpark, you know, flatten in
Oh,
between
yeah,
the,
okay,
in
yeah,
between
you
the,
lost me on ballpark. No,
Did me too.
yeah, I was like, no.
I mean,
No, I think we can do a pretty good job of keeping the existing,
you only got the one sewer line and your footing drain going out there, so you can kind of,
right.
And the footing. Septic
Yeah,
line-
footing
septic
drain, that
line's
footing
be
drain's
the
gonna
slope.
get moved a little bit. I don't think it's 25 from the leach field. It'll be angled out towards the detention basin.
what's it, come off the corner of the building with it instead of right in the middle of the building. It's kind of a lot, isn't it?
We'll probably come off the corner. I mean, you gotta put it on there somewhere, but
Yeah.
as I look at it now, yeah.
Dump it into conveyance swale 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you're putting a footing drain around it to slab on grade, right? There's no basement.
Short money, cheap insurance. Something that we could revisit. I think the thought's probably because it's in a pretty good cut, so just every effort to keep water away.
It's easier to add it, yeah, easier to have the plan not installed than the other way around.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I'd leave it with me.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal to
No, I know.
install it. It's, it's pretty simple, so.
Right.
But to have to go back through it after the fact, once it's paved and everything else, would be a nightmare.
Okay. That's 4 things?
5,
5?
I think.
Which one is?
Snow storage, silt fence relocation.
Yes, no storage.
Oh, I have 4. What was it, say it again?
Septic approval,
Oh, septic, yep.
I still got 4.
revised note 16, add note 20.
Oh, that's over here, yes.
C note 16, not revised.
Yes, C note 16.
Yeah.
Add note 20, remove silt fence, remove snow storage area, move the silt fence out of the buffer.
So, did you make a motion?
Sure.
Okay. Good.
Make a motion to approve the plan with 5 conditions. That need to be, plans need to be changed before they get signed. Snow storage area needs to be revised to get it away from conveyance swale number 2. Silt fence relocated so it's out of the buffer. We need DES approval on the septic system. You have to add with this future driveway, a C note 16. And add a note 20 about flagging the wetland buffers prior to logging from FES 2 to the 4 spots of parking on the south side of the entry road.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Can I make one little amendment, adding that the septic approval and putting a note in the plan without approval? So note 21 would be a septic approval note.
Sure.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. When I make the revisions, how many copies of the plan would you like?
3.
3?
That's something you want, right?
And if you want to sign one back, you probably ought to bring 4.
Or 10. No, don't bring 10. I don't want to sign that many. Anything else?
Okay, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, see you soon.
This is Mr. Carl Waldron. Craig.
That's a good name.
Heard that one before.
See,
Another Craig.
I tried, Craig.
Prints and stuff. Do I need all my?
No, I just gave the paperwork to the chair.
So this is for a stone wall removal for a driveway, I assume?
Yes, driveway entrance, yeah.
Is there a driveway there now?
Is there one now?
Yeah.
That little
There's
accent.
an access.
Is it for a new house or a barn or something?
New house.
New house, okay.
It made more sense to use the access that was existing than to move the whole stone wall, you know, to make a new
So
driveway.
you're just like widening an existing opening?
Widening the existing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have your copy? I'll take mine back if you want.
I'm just wondering where in the world in Quaker Street we are talking about.
373,
That helps me a lot.
63.
363.
I can visualize that real well. I'm being
It's on the dirt-
sarcastic.
It's on the dirt part.
The dirt. Go,
If you cross.
After Harry Weatherby's old house?
Oh, okay, so if you go down across Thorndike, on the left, the second, after the little, they got the field.
After the field.
Yeah, it's right in
Yeah.
the corner of
Okay.
Thorndike and Quaker.
Okay, yes, I remember this now. Now I remember, I was reading the minutes where Tom Clow and Hugh Durek, I'm like, what in the world are we talking about here? Why do I remember all this? Okay. So,
He wrote dirt part on there. How well defined is the wall?
Not all that well. The wall was mostly defined probably where the entrance was,
Mhm.
far away. Probably the best because they concreted it in, so it would stay.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, it was concreted for a gate.
Mhm. So it's like
But the rest of the wall is in shambles, kind of,
1, 2 rocks high at the most kind of thing? It's not,
pretty much, yeah. Where the gate was looks like they stacked them up and concreted them together
Mhm.
to get a steel something in there to hold the gate.
September 2010. Jim Donaldson was a selectman in 2010? You guys don't know.
Somebody wanted to put a modular home on the property.
oh, is that what that was for?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it was approved for a modular, and I don't think Jimmy and you wanted that to happen, you know.
Yeah.
So how much of the wall are you gonna remove?
Approximately 18 feet.
Are you putting it in the same place it was talked about before?
No,
Okay, that's the issue, okay.
the existing barway is where it was before was really low on the property, and it would have been really wet down in there, I think. And probably a little bit too much of a grade. Plus, the septic design was drawn right where the driveway was gonna be.
What are you gonna, where are you gonna put the rocks?
They're gonna go to the left of where they were, actually, just be moved over and restacked.
My understanding was there is like a, I don't know how wide it is, but there's a gap in the stone wall now. And previously, they were gonna put the stone wall there, or the driveway there, and widen the gap. Can you put the rocks where you're putting it and plug that gap up?
He's using a gap.
Because you're using, I thought they were using the gap.
Using 12, well, it was about 12 feet wide, the existing gap.
I thought they were using the gap. No, they aren't. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
I think they made the gap after that meeting.
The gap is really old.
Yeah, they're reading the history of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I was reading in 2010 minutes. It was confusing me a little bit.
Sorry.
I'm still confused where Selectman Donison was
You
voting on
taking,
that.
you going, taking rocks off both sides of the gap, or just one
No,
side or the
Just
other?
one side, if you're looking from Quaker
that's-
Street at the lot,
Yeah.
just the left side, that would be more towards Thorndike.
Okay. So you're gonna leave one edge of that gap alone?
Correct.
You have your copy?
No, I didn't get it. Just take one.
And you want to remove 18 feet, you said?
To make the 30-foot width of a driveway,
All I
yeah.
have
Well, the
to do
30-foot width
30-foot width is at the road.
is where it meets the road, the edge of the
So you
road,
can flare it in
and then you
remove
flare it in immediately. So really,
20, 22
how
is
far
probably
out the road is the stone wall?
Not far, maybe.
I'll give you
3
one of
feet.
theirs.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you'll be pretty wide then.
Yeah.
enough. Yeah. Okay, we just give them,
Give 'em 30 feet.
30 feet.
Yeah.
The rocks to be placed, making the stone wall better in other places or whatever word I want to use. Rebuild the stone wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it, dress it up in the springtime,
Yeah.
make it look good.
And you say that it's a 12-foot gap now?
It was, the existing gap was approximately 12 foot.
Make a motion, we recommend the selectmen that they, that's what we all do, right? Recommend the selectmen?
Yes.
I had a couple of questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Why do I keep seeing this 2010?
Because I had a driveway permit in 2010 to put a modular in there.
Oh, that's what it was.
But he doesn't want to put the driveway where it was approved for then. He says,
It's still the same owner?
no, he's a different owner.
And I understand it's already been done, right?
What has been done?
It's already been widened,
Yes, it has.
yeah.
You,
We took a few stones out to get his excavator and dump
Oh.
trucks in and stuff.
Now I understand. These are selectmen minutes.
back to make the motion?
Sure. You like?
I'll take that, Cliff.
Not yet.
Recommend the selectmen that they allow the removal and
Check my other
reuse.
question.
How about a removal and reuse of the approximately 18 feet of stone wall to the
Remove 18 feet of stone wall with the rocks to be
reused?
used to embellish the existing wall?
Yeah. On the north side, is that the north side you're taking out?
It is the north side, correct? The northeast
Northeast side?
Yeah.
corner.
On the northeast side of the existing 12-foot wide entryway.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay.
Check abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All set?
One sec.
All set?
Thanks, everybody.
So that recommendation will go to the selectmen Monday night. Naomi's expecting it, so.
I'll be there, you want me to be there?
It'd be nice if you could, but if
Yeah.
you couldn't, she would understand.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, is it?
6:30,
Yep, 6:30, right?
right here?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds great.
More copies?
Been up to Jackman at all, right? Been up to your property in Jackman at all?
In the fall, a couple times,
In the
yeah.
fall? Rabbit hunting or
Bear hunting,
bear hunting?
yeah.
Do any rabbit hunting anymore, or?
No, I don't. I'd like
Yeah,
to.
me neither. I gave up chasing beagles. Done it for too many years, you know.
No, that's too much, that's too
Well,
much fun.
there's still 25 acres
You passed that
fenced
out.
down here, the Queen City Beagle.
Do we do
Beagle
minutes
Club.
first?
Sure.
Yeah, I used to be a member.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've never been over here though, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, have you?
I put all that fence up.
Good man.
Still rabbits in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same?
Mind if I bring my beagle down, let him go?
Well, you wanna talk to, I wouldn't want to give you that permission, but
No,
I'm sure that you could
Which one are
probably
you
be
doing? November
accommodated.
23rd?
that'd be great.
November
I can't
21st.
remember the
yes.
gentleman's name, from New Boston.
Oh.
Is it right in town?
Kind of runs it. Yeah, it's right here, right next door here. Yeah,
Where is it?
Right behind your house, isn't
right
it?
behind my
I
industrial
saw
building.
something.
Really?
Yeah,
Up behind Brown's sand pit.
People go train rabbits, train dogs and stuff?
yeah.
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 And you don't
Yeah,
have
if
to
you walk
chase
up the hill behind Brownie's sand pit there, there's a
Oh.
the snowmobile trail. Take a left as soon as you get partway up the hill and it's right there.
I used to rabbit on a lot when I was a kid. I'd love to do that
I'll
again.
see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
My
I'll be
wife
here tomorrow
would hate me
morning.
saying that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you again, have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Let's do minutes from November 21st,
Okay.
please. This is the only minutes we haven't done, right?
I believe so, yeah, I think we did them all.
Yep, yeah, caught up, believe it or not. Ever since Kelly's in town.
Yeah, don't you remember the look?
The look?
But I gave you a look when you said, no, we'll do minutes later.
Oh, yes, that look.
That look,
We caught up from that look, though.
right. You've caught up. No,
Probably look familiar.
no more postponing minutes.
Packers aren't playing again on Thursday night this year, so we're set.
Okay.
Come up.
What?
Oh, it's right here.
I'll see what his name was. Where's his name?
It's the last full moon of the decade tonight.
It's the last meeting of,
Last full moon of the
oh,
decade.
did you see
tonight.
that moon?
Yes, it's gorgeous.
It followed me all the way here. I tell my son that, and
Oh,
I even
that's
called him, he's
nice.
at practice, he's
Oh.
41 years old, and I'm still calling. The
Oh.
moon's falling. So when he gets a message, he'll laugh.
Oh.
So now he does it with his daughter.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
nice.
we always call it the full moon. You see the face in the wind? Especially when it was away at
Submit
college.
an application.
Well, I didn't need to.
Looking at it, even though
No,
you're
it's a
far away.
recommendation we have to give the select.
Yeah,
They get the
he's a
application
good
love
kid.
that.
He's a good
for the
kid.
driveway
Yeah, but I
permit.
think we at least have a name. How do you recommend to him? You don't know who
It's
it was?
based on
You
the
go,
lot number.
Coaches
Yeah.
at the women's basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, I guess I know
You know, I
his
want to
name.
say. Yes, I did.
he's the head coach.
Oh, my God.
He came up from Johnson and Wales.
Oh, wow.
He was head coach at Johnson and Wales,
Oh,
but
my
when they
God.
had a baby, they wanted to go back home.
Uh-huh, of course.
So you go on the site to look at the schedule, see whatever date it was, W. So it's, when you win, it's 1. It's when all his games are.
I'll have to look.
Last year he had it on WMUR because, I don't know if you know anything about basketball.
Well, they have a very strong, that's their best thing at St. A's. other
Right, the
than
men and the-
women's hockey. or
Yeah,
something
field
like
hockey, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were,
Football.
they were the seventh seed, there's 8 seeds, and they were the 7th place going in to the champions, and then they won. Yeah, brought them right up, so when they went out for the national champions, it's the 1 out of 3 games, but they lost the first one. But at least Corey got the girls there. Yeah, it made basketball history because nobody from the 7th seed has ever come up to that. Yeah. I say it's because of the coach.
Of course.
Golly, what was that gentleman's name? Do you know?
What I call him, Carl or Craig Waldron.
Yep.
Waldron.
That's his last name?
Waldron, yeah,
Here, I can give you.
yep.
On the agenda, right here. Here you go. You can have that.
Oh, I didn't get this agenda, that's why.
Oh,
I didn't either.
Huh?
Well, maybe I did, I didn't see it when I printed everything out.
Yeah, it's-
You keep sending revised stuff, and all it says is scanned document.
and it's got right there.
That's not it.
Are you making notes on your minutes?
Yes.
You almost done?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the number 8,
Thank you.
Number 8.
The budget one?
because budget's not the right word. It wasn't budget, it was the land use court thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
What are you talking
the
about?
state zoning, the
Land
the
use court.
state zoning board, or state land use board.
They're gonna be,
The, item 8.
Where's item 8? What are you talking about? Am I on the
Item
wrong ones?
8. Down here where it says budget, I shouldn't, the budget.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was unclear on what really was being said.
that was about the article Chuck had in the paper that said that,
Oh, the RSA, the Senate bill.
Yeah,
Senate bill creating a land use court, basically.
Right, it was a Senate bill.
The land use,
It's a land use Senate bill.
okay.
So not last budget, but it's the clarification on the
Okay.
Senate bill regarding land use, if the planning board would be overruled.
I think we should take 8 out of there.
You
I
can,
almost didn't put it in.
Yeah,
so-
I think just
Yeah,
take
just
8
go.
out.
Okay, let's
Take it
take
out. but just so that you know, while you're on that subject, your legal line for land use is 6,200. You have 6,200. It's all kind of grouped in with the selectmen, but.
what do
if
we
you-
use?
You didn't ask me that. You just asked me what you,
I'm surprised we had a
I don't
line.
think-
Never
Because-
use the nickel.
No, Craig needs
because
to,
it's not on it doesn't come out on mine because it's grouped in with the selectmen's budget.
Whenever Craig calls,
But look, if the zoning board
call
has
very much.
10,000.
huh?
You have 6,000, the zoning board has 10,000.
Does legal come out of that?
Beth told me it's all grouped in with the selectmen, but if I wanted to know how much we had as a legal budget, she said it was $6,200. So, you asked me to check into it. You asked me how much the
Yes.
budget was.
Well, it was. I was thinking how much money we had to.
You want me to find out?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'll let Craig find out.
Okay, so we'll just cross that off.
So on Roman numeral 5, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th line starts from Mr. Kirk. From Mr. Kirk to continue the change review to change review to hearing to the December 12th meeting. To continue the hearing to the December 12th meeting. Number 5, instead of the word new waiver, make it written waiver. Page 2, third line. I think the big BF should be Mr. Fillmore.
You saw how I cheat.
And the next line, Mr. Kirk moved to accept the application is complete. And the last thing is get rid of number 8 and make adjournment 8.
I like the way you're numbering the conditions like that, though. That makes it nice and clear for
Yes, it
everybody.
does.
Yes, thank you.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's how I cut and paste when Dan said what was left. So I cut and paste from the minutes and gave it to him.
That's good.
Yeah, that was a good way to do it.
Cool.
And before I sign the plan, it's easier to see 6 things.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes it a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, because when Craig goes to sign the final plan, I have to attach the minute to that plan so we can review what was left to do.
Yeah.
So if you do it that way, that's good. Excellent.
Excellent.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Mrs. Kelly gave us a proposed hearing for public hearing for proposed changes. Well, now I get the agenda, now I get a revised agenda.
You're on the last one,
Gee, thanks.
second last one.
Okay.
Can you pass that packet down to Chuck? That's Bruce. One for you. So the first one, I don't have my copy. Well, what's first?
Building permit
No,
ordinance.
Okay,
You so organized with everybody else's copy, you forgot your own. I probably threw a bunch of it in here.
did you? I had just an order that they're all in, so. That's okay, they're in order here.
Here,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So the first one you have is basically the proposed, and this is what the building permit ordinance will look like. So from the big booklet down to.
So this is the entire
that's the
new
entire-
ordinance?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So if you go to the mocked up copy, you'll see where a lot of it's crossed off because of the old Boca
So
codes.
this becomes this?
Yes,
I like that already.
Yeah.
because you cross out a few pages where it all relates to Boca, the old codes.
Yep.
And we updated, in a one paragraph, we updated up to the international codes. And then the other big change would be the fee schedule, which was 4 or 5 pages. And we broke that down to a paragraph by changing the fee schedule to a flat rate.
On the, before we get too far into it, the second item on this is building defined.
Yes,
House, shed, is there a size limit on the shed?
there was not before. But I did add a section where it relates to the international residential code where there are certain permits that are exempt. And I added that to the new code.
Where's that?
That's going to be. I'll find it for you in a second. It's all crossed off here. Page 3 on the new one, section 512, construction work exempt from permits in accordance with the IRC section R 105.
What's that?
Fences under 200 square feet.
Deer stands?
Yes, I was wondering if there was
Understand.
if there was like a 50 square foot or 100 square foot size
There
on
is a
sheds?
small, I think it's like, it's either 100 or 200, I can't remember off the top of my head.
So my
You have to
8 by
get the
8 deer
book.
stand does not need a building permit?
No.
Okay.
Now,
Temporary
where are
storage.
those regulations, in your office?
Yeah, yeah. And online, it's
What do you-
an
what do you mean?
international code, but yes, we have them.
What do you mean temporary?
But there's some temporary structures or that I call them.
My deer stand's not temporary.
No.
Well, those
Didn't say you
those
did.
tents, those car tents are temporary.
We were already done your deer stand, we were already
I'm
done.
just
I was
curious if
moving
we're,
on.
I'm making sure we aren't going to make somebody get a building permit for a deer stand.
No.
Those, those,
Or a birdhouse, or,
those shelters, those canvas shelters over
I
there?
call them duct tape garages.
Yeah,
Yes, good name for them.
They're exempt?
Yes, yeah, actually, ICC doesn't even recognize that as a structure.
So an 8 by 8 deer
So
stand.
there is room for
So an
exemption
8 by 8 deer stand with a 4-foot deck, stick up in posts.
in a
And
treehouse.
it's not in a tree, it's on posts.
Oh.
as long as you don't have power running to it.
I got heat
Right.
on it. No power yet. Okay.
So the other change, the other significant change would be some of it related to building inspector being the only one in the building department where we actually have 2 or 3 different personnel in there.
So if it said the building inspector collects the fee, that's not true, it's the building department. So I made changes like that.
There's one thing, Kelly, that I'm not getting twisted into shape, and that's right off the bat, building permits. So no building or addition shall be constructed, demolished, renovated, altered, or change the use of a building, which seems like it's not worded correctly.
Did you see the markup? Did I not write it the same way as the markup?
That doesn't mean it's right.
Right, well, this is now the time to make the changes. So if you look on the markup, page 1 on the markup.
Yeah, it's the first thing on page 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there something that you wanted to change on it?
Yeah, it's the word "the" between change of the use. Would it be change of use, or,
You change the use of a building?
yeah, it's the same both places. That's,
Been-
So I don't need a permit, I don't need a permit to demolish my deck and put up a new deck. Because that's not an addition, and that's not a building, as defined there. However, it is any other structure, so.
Or any other structure.
and decks certainly need to meet building codes.
I was making sure it was in there. I was going the other way with that one.
You want to add decks and you might want to add, next to house sheds, garage, chicken coop, you might want to throw decks in there,
Sure,
just to
sure.
make sure everybody knows.
Yep.
It says other structures, but some people might say, well, it's a deck, it's not
No,
a
we might as well
structure.
add the word right in there.
Yeah,
Deck. Porch, barn, I mean, you could go on.
you got barn, just add deck and porch is what I want.
Okay, deck and porch, okay. And then all other structures, okay.
And I'd take out the word pole in front of barn and just leave it as barn.
Okay.
That way, every barn.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Okay, when you say a plat drawn to scale showing the actual dimensions, yabba dabba do. Who has to do that? Anybody? And it's that,
Yes.
that's for every building?
Yes, it's on a building permit.
Anybody can do it?
Yep.
How's that now? Greg?
The little drawing on the back of the building permit application that they have to draw.
You think plat's too formal of a word to use
No,
there?
that's fine.
Where is that addressed?
Number 113.
Oh, okay. And we're saying we will accept hand drawn,
These are all the things that are already on the instructions of the application.
oh, okay.
It's not really New Hampshire Water Supply and Pollution Control approval anymore. They don't call themselves that, do they?
No. It's Department of Environmental Services,
Yeah.
Subsurface Systems Bureau. That 116,
Yep, so DES subsurface,
yeah.
yep. Missed that one, okay. 116.
Yeah, that NWSPCC, change that to NHDES.
NHDES, okay. Got it. Oh, but see, I did change it in 117.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like, oh, I missed that one. Missed the other one.
On 118, the owner shall have a site assessment study performed. Now, who would do that?
Licensed septic designer, that's a state, that's a New Hampshire DES rule.
Was that right?
Yeah.
That's on waterfront property.
Yeah. That's that ENV. It's not WS anymore either, it's WQ.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
What would we do without you, Bruce?
You need to, like 1110, you need a driveway permit no matter, don't you? Whether it's on a town road or not?
Yeah, but if I'm building an addition, I don't need a driveway permit, I hope.
Chuck's
Just
saying, that- what about state roads?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Effectively, I think that's what he's
yeah,
saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that someplace, didn't it, up above? I may have missed it.
trying where it's, oh, it was written that way in the, well, it doesn't matter. If you want to change it, you can change it.
I just, maybe add another sentence,
Sure.
that same number. Driveway permit is required on any, by NHDOT on any state highways,
On any road,
class 5 or better.
just cross out town. Put on any road or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just say town or state road, a driveway permit is required, no matter who you get it from.
Well, I think they're talking about class 6 and private too. So if you just say any road,
Yeah,
whether the town owns it or not, or the state,
Yep,
town
okay.
or state road, it kind of covers. We'll just cross out the word town and then put on any. Okay. Chuck would know that one.
Really?
Well, because what you're going through now.
I mean, is there such a thing as a new building to be, if it's situated on a road, that, I don't know how you get around that, but you could build a new building out at the end of my field and say it's not situated on a road, so
and
I don't need a driveway permit.
I'm not sure that, boy,
Let me see how.
sometimes the DOT puts a, right near the driveway permits, this is for a single-family house. If you add an in-law apartment or make it a duplex or something, you're supposed to revise your DOT permit. So do we want any new, any, you know what I mean? Instead of building, we might want to put dwelling unit.
The original is, if property on which a new building is to be located is situated on a town road, a driveway permit is required. That was the original.
Yeah.
Where's that? That's so I can.
Page 2 on your markup one, 117. That's how it's originally written back when you adopted it in the 1800s.
Okay. I don't think I was here then.
Well, I don't,
I second that, Kelly.
that was, this ordinance is very old.
Do we want to change it to dwelling unit?
I think we ought to make, can we just, instead of making,
Why can't you just say that for, a building permit may require a driveway?
An
Don't-
updated
Don't read into it, don't say what for, don't say where, just say, building permit may require a driveway permit. Because if you're building a porch, you don't need one. If you're building, just because you're putting a new building up, doesn't mean you need a
No,
driveway.
A barn or a,
A barn, you may not
Lot of
need it,
things
but yet,
Right.
if you're gonna access that barn off another, you might.
Or if
So-
you're gonna add a dwelling unit into an existing building, you might need
an updated permit?
an updated permit.
Right. And so, and the building permit may require a driveway permit.
Yeah, we should do that.
Just keep it simple.
Then you can make a determination when they get the building
Right.
permit if they need one or not.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I
just
guess.
put a building permit may require driveway. Just so that the sentence is in there for interpretation. Okay.
So I got a question for you. If you're going to require a septic approval per 1.16, why do we need a plat in 1.13?
Oh, I've been over that. I've tried that, Greg, for years.
I'm trying it again. There's some towns that buy it.
I
There's some
know.
that don't. They're stupid.
They should.
Why do you need both?
I'm sorry, say it again. So
We have a-
113 is a plat drawn to,
1.16, you're requiring a septic approval for a new house, right?
yeah,
That new septic approval is gonna show a house to
yeah,
scale
yeah.
with property lines. Why do you need a plat? 1.13.
Because not all building permits have a septic system plan with it. If you're building a new home, on the back of that building permit application, there has to be a drawing of some
Could,
type of a
could we put in
drawing.
parentheses there, if the septic plan is acceptable, if properly,
No, because not all septic plans show you setbacks.
that's why I said if properly,
No. They don't. You guys would be doing more work on your septic plans if I had to accept that all the time.
we don't mind doing that. We charge you a little extra.
Mine do.
Oh, yours do? Oh, really? I know.
Yeah, side setbacks, rear setbacks, wetland
Yeah, but
setbacks.
if that came in that way, I would accept it that way. That's my interpretation of having setbacks. But I wouldn't limit it.
No, you don't have to limit it. I'm just, in parentheses, can be on the septic plan or something if properly detailed.
Well, you can word it, but that would be more than acceptable to me.
But you're just looking at something like this. is
Essentially,
what you're
yeah,
looking for,
yeah,
which means,
nothing,
right.
Nothing. But there are other plans attached.
sometimes.
Right, but with this town, this department, I was told it has to be on the back of the building.
I know.
Okay.
That part I
You get that
don't
on- You don't
understand.
get that on tape, do you?
That's the part I don't understand.
Yeah,
I
everybody
accept-
just heard you, yes.
No, but
Our big live audience is listening to you. And now we're gonna say,
there are other plans attached that are acceptable.
Okay. So we can write C attached on that little big graph paper page of the permit.
One 12, should you also include industrial buildings, or are they all one and the same?
Receives any plans for commercial buildings, the building inspector has the authority to have them sent out to an outside firm.
I'd just say any building, a large house you might want to do that on.
Yeah, you could,
I'd just cross out commercial completely.
right.
Yeah.
Yep,
good catch, Chuck.
yeah, that's good, Chuck. And on that one, I did leave the building inspector in there, that one. And not change it to the building department.
Well, 1.4 sounds strange.
So, go to the, I tried to shorten it. If you go to your markup copy, on page 2, 1.5, a building or other structure may be found to be hazardous for general health, safety, and welfare of the community if it does any of the following, and then it lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 different items. So I tried to group it as a health nuisance in a paragraph.
1.4? No,
1.5
I'm on 1.4,
on page,
on yours. If a completed application is submitted,
oh, you said 1.5.
I meant 4, I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Anyways, when you get to
The
1.5.
way I read 1.4, if the building department and the building makes a determination that said building is not in the interest of public safety, then the building permit should not be issued. Right? Unless the building department makes a determination the building is not in the interest of the permit of the building, then you can't issue a permit. That's backwards, there's 2 knots. You got a double negative in
Oh,
there.
okay.
'Cause you're saying you have to say it's not in the best interest to issue the permit. You know what I mean?
No, payment of all required fees unless the building department makes a determination that said building is not in the best interest of the general health, safety, and welfare of the community. The building permit shall not be issued to.
Yeah, you gotta take out that not there.
Yeah, the second not has to be taken out.
Yeah. That says you won't give out building permits for anything.
Unless you say it's not in the interest, then you shall issue a permit.
Yeah, that, by adding that second not, you're saying you're not giving permits for anything.
Right.
The permit shall not be issued if it's not in the interest of the general
Yeah.
health.
No,
That's not
no,
what it says.
no. It already says that up above. It says if you make the determination that said building is not in the interest,
If you don't read the stuff between the commas, upon receipt of a completed building permit application by the building department and payment of all required fees, the building permit shall not be issued to the person or persons filing the application.
it says
The
unless
second not.
the building department makes the determination the building is not in the interest. So if you don't make that determination, you issue the
Permit shall
building
be
permit.
issued. Yes,
Okay. So just cross out that second not?
Yes,
yes.
the underlying one, yeah. Yeah,
So the permit shall be issued,
yes.
yeah,
Shall be.
unless,
Unless you make a determination,
Unless you
Yep.
make that determination.
yep, I got it now.
yeah.
So now the next paragraph is where I tried to group all the line items in the markup plan of what would constitute hazardous to general health.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I don't even know why it's in there, but it was in there previously. It's on page 2. 1.5.
Yeah. That could be taken the wrong way.
That all has to do with blowing up and fires, right?
Well,
And harmful chemicals.
it's almost,
Unless you were resulting in any annoyance or discomfort to the public, and I can think of lots of things that make annoyance and discomfort to the
yeah,
public.
that, my note here says to be discussed because whose opinion is unreasonable risk of lowering a natural quality of life or its surroundings? You know, how you live and how you live and how you live, it's,
Subjective is subjective
Subjective.
gets.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
somebody moves in across from my street, it
code
could,
enforcement over 20 years, I'm not gonna make that
They
determination.
got 2 dogs and you like cats.
or just somebody moving across, just somebody moving across the
And
road.
that's
is
code
unreasonable
enforcement, I don't
risk to
like
me.
cats, so I'm gonna go with the dog.
Yeah.
So, did I even add that in there,
Yeah,
or did I take it out?
no, very first, it creates an unreasonable risk of lowering the natural quality of its surroundings.
Yeah. Unreasonable susceptibility to fire explosion anyway involves transportation. So I
So you
would
merge-
like to just take that right out, unreasonable risk of blowing the, because you have it in your zoning ordinance about peace and enjoyment already. And you don't really need it in your building permit ordinance. Can I cross it out?
Yes.
Thank you.
What are you crossing out, 1.5?
No,
Just
just-
the creates,
Creates an unreasonable risk.
The nuisance part.
no, the unreasonable risk part.
So it's hazardous to general health, safety, and welfare if it's fire or explosion, potential dangerous material, in any way endangers the public health. Okay,
I would put, yes, I would put a period after health.
yeah,
And get rid of the rest of that, too.
yeah. I don't want anything that's subjective.
No.
Thank you.
I'd like to hear, what's that gonna sound like right now, the way we've changed it?
A building or other structure may be found to be hazardous to the general health, safety, and welfare of the community if it does any of the following: presents an unreasonable susceptibility to fire or explosion, in any way involves the transporting of potentially dangerous material on public roadways in the town of Ware, in any way endangers the public health, period. I guess it should be or in any way.
Oh, okay, after where?
After town
Town
where.
of Ware should
Yeah.
say or.
Or in any way endangers public.
Well,
Still gives me a little room to interpret what is dangerous for public health, but
I mean,
that's okay, I'm comfortable with that.
potential dangerous material is subjective too,
Oh, yeah.
so You can squawk about,
Potentially damage material is fuel oil.
you know, like the septic truck going by, or,
Yeah, fuel oil.
yeah.
Those are public utilities. I think those guys are exempt, aren't they?
I don't think that that's a great plan.
We don't have zoning that just covers that whole sentence, that whole section.
Well, reread that thing. The building or structure
Remember, this is
is
to
not,
issue,
is not going to be driving a fuel truck down the street.
but this is to issue the building
Yeah.
permit.
Yeah, but I think,
It's not the driving truck, it's the building that's
Yeah,
gonna
but if
carry.
I wanna put in
right, but if,
a tank and haul fuel oil, which,
Right.
then you can say, ooh,
but I think,
may not, I guess you don't
Well,
have to say anything.
You would have to get the approvals first if you're gonna do something like that, so you could say without prior approval.
Well, yeah, yeah, but it doesn't say that here.
No, I know, it doesn't,
Yeah.
but that's what, I mean, I think I know what you're saying as far as,
I almost think this gives people that don't like a site plan that gets approved a second way to go try and stop something. After they have a public hearing on a site plan, they could
right,
say,
the nuclear waste building,
yeah,
Well,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So this come back, after you approve it, and come back and say you
Say-
issue a permit because of this
Right.
paragraph.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I think the zoning, I think we have
Yeah.
zoning now that
I
covers
think we
it.
do have zoning that would cover that, and you have it in your own commercial regs, we can just delete the section.
Okay, before we say that, where is it in zoning?
Right at the beginning of the,
I
it doesn't specifically say hazardous, but it says anything that, you know, you have a right to enjoy. Uh, 3.2. And anything in conflict with any local or other state regulations. But 3.2 is
Yeah,
your,
the performance standards thing.
yeah,
Yeah, get rid of 1.5.
okay, find it.
Yeah, it took the subjectiveness right out of it.
Yeah.
You did. Thank you very much. Maybe this will only be 2 pages long by the time we get done with it.
Are we sure we have 3 copies of the life safety code?
So that was the fire chiefs. I didn't change anything for that one. I think there's another adoption of life safety code on the next page, fire prevention
Yeah.
code and the NFPA 13 codes. He said to leave them in, so. But I think it says adoption by reference, so he was okay with that. So every time that the state references a code or amends it, then we automatically adopt it for the life safety code. So that wasn't really changed. And then you'll notice all of the International Building Code, Plumbing Code, Mechanical, Energy, NEC, and existing building code, swimming pools, everything that you have before, everything that the state has adopted, it is all now 2015 and 2017.
On 514, did we get to that yet?
Sure.
Sure.
Some of those might be appropriate to collect when the building permit fee is collected, others are not.
Well, which one?
Well, impact fees, for example, a building doesn't give rise to the use of impact fees. That needs to be done at occupancy permit instead of building permit.
I see your point, but I'm just trying to figure out what. I think most towns make you do it with a building permit.
No,
No?
no. The impact fees are certainly CO time.
You have an impact fee here?
No,
No.
not yet. But I just want to not have to change this if we do.
An impact fee for a subdivision. So when each house comes in, each house pays a certain percentage of it?
We don't have one,
No, but if you did, is that what you were thinking?
yes.
Impact
And-
fees,
and-
right?
and usually-
'Cause I've had impact fees when
and
I
they're
was-
broken down for police, fire, school, recreation,
Correct.
roads, you know, there's,
Correct,
Money goes everywhere.
right.
yeah.
And those
I
impacts
received it before
usually,
the building permit was issued.
and those impacts usually aren't felt until there's people in the house.
No, we did it before the building, we did it right at the building permit.
I've always added a note on the plan saying it had to be paid with the building, with the
Yeah.
building permit.
It was part of the building permit. In other words, we wouldn't let you build a house if you didn't already pay for it.
Why, I don't know. I understand your point completely when you're not, certainly not adding kids into the school, so you pull a building permit.
Because it already uses the services in town when they start building. Not necessarily, more so after they live there, yes, but why are they
Right,
building
and
it and
that's-
still live there? Either or, when you adopt your impact fees for subdivision, you can specify it then. Right?
I'm against it myself, but that's okay. I can see how the town would mess things up and end up
Yeah,
owing a lot of money to a lot of people.
I think this was just a general statement here. I don't know.
That's happened before.
Yes, it has, to several towns.
Yeah,
Towns bigger and smarter than this, I think,
Yeah.
or at least bigger. Maybe we're smart because we don't have any, I don't know.
like, you work for one of them. Happened to Derry.
So what happened to the fee schedule?
Nothing. Nothing yet.
Well,
No, we haven't,
how did impact fees come? I mean, I don't see it referenced. here.
514.
514.
Oh, 514.
It's listed as a potential fee,
Oh, I see.
even though we don't have them yet, but it's listed there as a potential fee.
And what are we saying? That's not a good plan?
Well, no, it's not the time to collect it. The time to collect it is when they get the CO.
I think most people make you pay it at the building permit though.
Oh, I see.
I
what you're
did,
saying.
in one town, I'm not sure about another.
Bedford and
With the building
Londonderry
permit,
do.
that's not appropriate.
Right.
Oh.
There's no impact at that point. The impact happens once people move into the house.
I know Bedford and Londonderry make me put a plan, note right on the subdivision plan that those will be paid with the building permit. And several other ones too.
We'll just get rid of the word impact fee and put or as specified in other ordinances.
Well, fees for fire protection would be the same show, wouldn't it?
Well, there's an argument made that once you've got wood on the site, there's a fire potential.
Yeah, but fees for fire protection would be like a cistern.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and usually those don't have to be in place until you get the CO. Right. I mean, some off-site improvement fees, like if you have to improve a road to get there or something, or I can understand, you know, a specific off-site improvement fee for that.
Well, you
Yeah,
can
but
put
you
building
gotta put a
permit,
stop sign up, you gotta put a red light up, you gotta do
Right.
a flashing light, you
Right.
gotta do something for the
Right.
outside improvement. That should be done
Right.
with the building permit.
you could put the building permit fee and/or CO is collected.
I don't wanna,
No.
I don't wanna
Mm.
give anybody the opportunity, the choice. I think it ought to be spelled out one way or the other.
Okay.
I think we ought to leave it alone, because that's what every other town does. And we don't have any anyway.
Right, and when you do adopt it, you can change it.
We can look at it again, right?
Or we take it out, one or the other.
I don't wanna take it out. I wanna leave it there.
Because I'm against impact fees.
Well, how
myself.
about certain fees as determined by the planning board?
Some of those fees are payable,
Or by the code enforcement officer,
yeah.
by the planning board?
Let me think about it.
Okay. Everything prior to that was okay? Because
Mhm.
You went right over the fee schedule.
Well, yeah, you
Oh,
mentioned
okay.
it earlier.
Because that's one of the biggest changes. So, let me show you, this is the fee schedule, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's all itemized,
Mhm.
you know, $2 for an outlet.
Buy electrical outlet, buy
You got-
fixtures, faucets,
Yeah.
toilets.
Yeah, it's in your mock-up copy, the permit fees, so,
You just want to change it to 50 cents a square foot.
50 cents a square foot. Right now, you're based on value of construction.
And that
so-
50 cents a square foot includes the electrical permit, mechanical permit.
No, it's $50 a permit after that. $50 flat.
Well,
rate.
yeah, $50 for each
Yes,
trade.
yes,
But the
yes.
$50 a
So
square
what we-
foot is for,
Square footage.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I did finished area, because I checked, and I have copies of them if you need them, I checked.
Attics and basements don't count.
Goffstown, Bow, Henniker, Hillsborough, I checked, you know, so some surrounding towns and how they worded it, so yeah, it's finished.
So it wouldn't include the foundation?
No,
Well,
unless you're going to finish it.
unless you finished it,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
what's finished?
Drywall, carpet,
Occupied.
bathroom.
Yeah,
So that's kind
Yeah.
of subjective too.
yeah, but I've done it this way for so many years.
Okay.
I've never done it by valuation. This is the first town I've seen that does
The
valuation.
problem with valuation is it,
Would take you a frickin' massive spreadsheet to figure out what the fee's
Oh,
gonna be.
it's horrible.
yeah, and then
But-
there's also a spot in there for somebody to put in how much it's going to cost to build a thing.
Right.
And she has to use that as a valuation. If they build it up themselves and include no labor whatsoever,
Well,
they
you're
might come in with a
supposed to-
value that's half of what the actual value
You're supposed
should
to
be.
times it by 2. So if Chuck was building a garage for 20,000, because he had to hire someone to build a garage for 20,000, but yet you could do it for 10,000, we're supposed to charge you 20,000. But I don't ask for any building materials, I don't ask for any quotes. How do I know that that's really $20,000?
I think the square foot
I would
price
rather
is-
look for numbers on a plan and do the calculation myself, that's what I'm used to doing. but-
So a garage wouldn't come under 50 cents a square foot?
Yes, it would, all building
Yes.
permits.
It's not an occupied.
No, but it's-
Occupiable,
Finish area?
not finished, that's, both of them.
The other word was usable. That,
That would include the cellar.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to include the basement, but you want to include
Well,
garages.
yes, if you're getting a building permit for a garage, it's finished when you pour the concrete, I would assume.
Yeah,
just because there's no sheetrock,
Just
it's still
yeah.
finished.
for the garage, it's finished,
Right,
for its
for the
use.
use. It's
All right,
finished.
so it's a.
Like a pole barn's
finished-
not gonna have it either,
The
but yes.
definition of a finished garage is different than a finished house.
Yes,
Or a finished pole barn, or a finished shed, or a finished
And you
deck,
count,
or-
you count decks in that too?
and 99% of your contractors know that. Yes,
They
your
do.
decks are 50 cents a square foot.
So a pole barn, even a finished pole barn will be 50
Once
cents.
it's finished, it's, yeah. Yep. So, and we did, I went over some numbers with Beth so that you're not losing too much in revenue. Because at first I had 25 cents a square foot, because that seemed like a couple of towns were doing. But 50 cents seemed to fit better to match up some of the
I was
revenue.
gonna say, how,
with it.
these gonna
And then
be,
everything else is just a flat rate $50 fee. None of this $2 for an outlet and $4 for a shower and
So what's that, like the electrical, the plumbing? and
mechanical,
Mechanical.
yeah.
What's mechanical?
Fireplace,
Yeah, gas fireplace, burners,
System.
heater.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
chimney,
It's $50 on each one?
well,
Oh,
it's $50 per permit, but there's multiple check boxes on the permit, so if you get 3 things checked off on the same permit, it's $50.
Okay.
but you think the permit fee for a new house is gonna be about the same as it was before? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we calculated it, that it wouldn't,
Now, my contractor told me the Weare had the highest of the high.
yeah,
It was high for a while. I mean, it was like
it is.
$2,500 for,
This isn't gonna make it higher.
No, not high. We're trying to get as close to it so that you're not losing revenue, but it's not ridiculously high.
You still go by NHRLS?
No, I don't do that. I haven't got that far yet. It's on the next page. Right?
You are now.
Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Where are you?
NHLLS.
Oh.
We aren't registered, we're licensed.
All the acronyms
Oh.
have changed on you.
That was a long time ago,
Yeah.
that changed.
NHLS.
LL,
Oh, LL.
2 L's, licensed land surveyor.
Okay. See how old this is?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that one, sorry.
So, just backing up a little, Kelly, on 413,
A little.
well, I just want to make sure I
Yeah,
understand.
that's all right.
We're saying that we're adopting this National Fire Prevention Code and any changes that come forward.
We've actually already done that.
That's already been there, you have it, it's already been there, I just copied it over to this, but what that means is whenever the state amends it, or NFPA amends it, you automatically adopt it.
But that would only be for new construction, right?
That's for everything.
No, that's not, that's a fire prevention code.
Yeah,
That's,
but I mean, you couldn't go into somebody's house and they didn't comply and it was, and say, well, you gotta upgrade.
no.
So I'm saying it's for new construction.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay, all right. All right.
And then after.
Do you have an
penalty-
inspection schedule? Oh, inspection points, you got C attached.
Yes. Well, I didn't attach it to this, but you know what the inspection points are. And then Article 9 is,
Oh, wait, back up.
okay,
I'm still at the NHRLS one.
LLS,
Yes.
okay.
Why do you want the certified plot plan so late?
We want
Why
it,
don't you want it with the building permit?
Because-
Prior to issuing a building permit?
because, I don't know, this was you guys,
Don't say this you guys thing.
whoever.
NHRLS would not have gone by these guys.
And that's on the agenda too to discuss, because one says may require and one says it will require, so we need to straighten that out. But,
My personal opinion or my professional opinion?
no, wait a minute.
Which
So-
you want?
So the drawing that you do on the back of a menu.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, I used to get them on the back of menus. That's okay, because it shows that you meet setbacks, or if I go out and measure, because they flagged it, that meets setbacks. Well, once you start excavating, things change. You run into granite, ledge, or whatever, so that could shift, it could change. So once the footings are in,
Doesn't say
is
that.
when,
It doesn't say that.
well, that's what your plot plan ordinance says, which is coming up next.
It says must be received prior to construction of foundation walls.
Right,
Which
which
means
is
the
the
footings
footings.
can be in.
The footings are in. That's what your plot plan ordinance says. You adopted this plot plan ordinance separate
Right.
at a town meeting. Or framing on top concrete piers.
Yeah, I think that's
So
all
no
right.
construction will be allowed after the footings are poured until a certified
Okay.
plot plan is submitted.
I guess it makes sense the way it's written then. Okay. Now, my professional opinion, sounds good. I'd word it differently, but that's okay.
Okay.
My personal opinion, I think it stinks. Because if I own 60 acres, which I do, and I want to put a house on it,
Hog-tied.
I'd be pissed if I had to hire a surveyor to say, yeah, my house is 478 feet from my side property
No,
line.
it's not.
Fortunately, you don't have to hire one.
No, they're not,
But this says I have to. If I'm building a house on a 60-acre lot, I have to hire a surveyor to do a plot plan saying my building is 478 feet away from the side lot line.
okay.
Right?
I
That's what it
think-
says.
Yeah, when we get to the plot plan
That's
ordinance.
stupid.
Right. We can change it when we get to the plot plan ordinance.
No, I shouldn't bitch about it yet.
Because can't we waiver the whole surveying of the whole property?
Well, who's this we?
Yeah, see?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
know what
the
you're
little
doing.
person between the W and the E.
Strong in my pocket, yeah. So we aren't talking
So-
about that yet. Okay,
Right,
we'll get there. I'll bitch later.
okay,
I can wait.
okay.
Backing up, though, I do think you should say right in the first sentence that the plot plan is required for all new buildings additions to existing, within the town where, upon the, after the footings are poured, or something to that effect, right in the first sentence. But I'll leave it go with that.
Will be required of all new buildings in addition to existing buildings at the time of footing. Okay, we can.
Instead of, actually, I would call it, instead of calling it a certified plot plan, I would call it a as-built footing plan.
Now,
Well, you
this-
can't
here's a-
because you're all right.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Here's a loaded question for you. How many do you get at that time, percentage-wise?
How many of the plot plans do I get at the time of the footings?
Yeah.
Most of them. Yeah.
Didn't a year ago.
I know, that's why I was asking.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I do. I get most of them. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I won't issue a CO, or sometimes Kyle won't go out to do a foundation inspection unless everything's in order.
Yeah, he shouldn't go out and do
He shouldn't.
foundation inspection
Right,
unless you
Right.
have it.
So there's been a couple that, oh, yeah, I gotta get that done. Yeah, because you shouldn't be pouring
Yeah, and
the
then they want
foundation.
you,
and-
I'll get it to you, can you come do the foundation, and you do the rough inspection, and they haven't got it done yet.
Right, right,
Really important, they find out they need a variance.
right.
Well, on 6.2, once you have that in your hand, and then, you brought this up already, as we start this foundation, when we run into ledge, now we gotta have a new plot plan?
No, because if you put your footings in, that means you're
there.
You're there. You
Okay.
should be out of your ledge by then, or you've
All right.
made other arrangements and the inspector approved it, or, and then you do your plot plan and pour your foundation.
So where this hurts is with large lots.
Yeah, when you're 200 feet from the
Yeah.
lot
Right,
line.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even my house lot, I know I'm 150 feet from my lot line. Who
Right.
cares?
But there's been, a lot of the new homes have already just had their land surveyed, so it's not such a
So
big
you
deal for the
s-
surveyor to go back and actually pinpoint where the house is. What?
No, it's not a big deal.
Am I wrong?
It's money spent you don't need to spend,
Oh.
possibly.
Hey, I get that. This is,
So Craig, if the guy's has any witches about him, when the bank comes to do a certified plot plan, just before the closing,
Haven't done one for a bank for ages.
no,
Oh, the mortgage inspection thing.
right.
Oh, that's stupid, that's not.
Whoever's building the house should be calling them saying, look, I already got the plot plan, I'll send it to you so they don't have to pay for another one. And they usually accept them, as opposed to the one that the mortgage company does. Because the one that the mortgage company does, you know how those guys do them,
Yeah,
they're terrible.
they aren't surveys.
Yeah.
I don't know how to word it, but I think there should be somehow have some leniency in it.
okay, when we get to the RSA that you actually adopted, which is why this paragraph's in here, then we can change both. So that's
Talk to
leave,
my ex-representative, see if I can change the RSA.
okay,
Okay, I'll move on to violations, but that's good too. I've already read that.
okay. And then the appeal. So I just wanted to let you know, Article 9 is what it is. There's been no changes. It's a
We
numbering.
can't do much about that one anyway.
No,
That's all 9/11 stuff.
yeah. So that's the new building and permit ordinance.
Well, here's something new that, you touch on it here, but this is in the numbering part. And this has been a sore spot with 3 different departments, well, 2 departments and a federal agency. Mailboxes.
Yep.
What about-
Driveway says one, post office says another.
I know.
It has nothing to do with numberings in a building permit.
No, I know it has nothing to do with the numbering.
Okay.
But the mailboxes are mentioned in the numbering on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll make the revisions, and January 9th we can finalize that.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing you wanted to do was the subdivision regulations, and there's actually two. I just printed the articles as they are, if you want to pass those out.
Although we didn't say 24, we said 22.
Correct.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Want me to call Benji?
He knows already.
Benji, come in here if I'm wrong. You said 20, you said you were willing to negotiate,
I was trying to get him 24.
and you were willing to go from 20 to 22. You wanted 24, but you were willing to compromise at 22. That's what he said.
Okay.
So for low-volume pavement width,
So however you want to change that,
change it to 22 instead of 20. I think that's the only place it needs to be changed.
okay? On which one, please?
Low-volume pavement width, it's like the fifth item down on the table.
Pavement width, yeah?
Yeah,
Low volume to 22,
yes,
Yes,
and then local 22 and Ontario 24?
right.
yes.
Okay. That's the only one you're gonna change?
That's it.
Okay. I mean, that's the only thing you discussed as far as changing anything
Well-
in the subdivision reg, so.
Is this hearing wasn't notified as a discussion to revise the subdivision regs per yabba dabba dabba.
Yes, it was a
In the
public-
paper, all that stuff?
Whatever was on the agenda was what was in
I threw the
the,
agenda away.
was in the newspaper, and it said, proposed changes for building permit, zoning, and subdivision.
Is that why Neil's not here, because I want to get in an argument over 22 feet?
And Jack Meany texted me and said he, did I tell you? Oh, no, I told you.
No.
Jack Meany did text and said he wouldn't be able to make it, but I didn't hear from Neil.
I think that was the only thing we
That
talked
was the only
about.
thing on that
The
one.
fire chief never said anything.
So, yep, so now the fire chief sent me this. Just happened to check my emails when we came in today at 6:30 and. Because I saw him today and asked if you called. So his section, what was his section? 8.8 under fire protection systems.
I was trying not to pass them out.
You're withholding documents.
Yeah, I didn't think we had to.
Exculpatory evidence.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were
he
done.
wants these points included in the 8.8 section of the subdivision regulation.
Okay, so he still wants the review fee to be $500?
I think everything on 34 he still wants to keep.
Yeah, there's the only changes he made is what he emailed us.
Nothing about fees.
No?
But the problem with the last cistern that got put in, there was a huge discussion that this document says the cost of review shall be borne by the applicant, and the estimated charge is $500 for said review. Yabba dabba do. That included the installation of said cistern and the review of cistern being installed.
Oh, they thought it was inspection fees while they were putting it into?
Yes.
So do you want to put,
Plan review. We just gotta change the cost to plan review,
what section are you
number
at?
2.
Number 2.
Why have you gotta change that to plan review?
Cost
So
of-
that people don't
so
interpret it as construction review,
What do you want to put, the cost of the review only?
of plan review,
Cost of the plan review only?
yes.
Okay. Got it.
There also was
places.
a construction review, then coming after this somewhere.
Yeah, inspections while they're building it to make sure it gets, that's this $3,500 later on.
Oh, I see it down here.
Yeah.
That's prior to construction.
Well, that's because they have to pay it prior to construction, so it's in the escrow account.
Oh, I see, they pay it prior to.
Right.
Now, does that include Keach Nordstrom watching the inspection of said cistern?
Got $3,500, that's part of their inspection review.
What if that tear it out and put it back in again? It's $3,500.
Well, yeah,
Is there a bond on it?
This is what happened to the last this is what happened to the last cistern. You put it in.
well, it doesn't
tear
say
it
in
out,
here,
Put it back in, pull it back out, put it back in again.
it doesn't say in here, and it probably should, that this is a deposit based on billing from the town engineer and, right? I mean, that's initially to start the escrow fund for the engineer review. Not necessarily the full amount of the engineering review of construction.
To cover the cost of the above noted inspections. Yeah, engineer according to the job specification. You want to put submit the deposit of the sum, so they know which is a deposit, that it could be more?
Submits the initial deposit sum, initial sum. It should be somehow spelled out, so it's known that that's not the final amount, that's not it, it's not cut in stone.
Maybe
It
subject.
could be less if they do a bang-up job.
Maybe subject to changes or something, or adjustment.
Do we have a town engineer review schedule?
Well, you can use the word initial, couldn't you? The cost of the initial review?
I hope not.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Did you hear Chuck?
No, they never listen to me.
I know.
Yes,
I-
you did. You
I
said
heard
initial.
though.
You said initial.
do.
I was
They-
listening to
they
you.
do.
I always listen to you. I don't respond always, but I always listen.
The initial review.
It says, so take above noted out and put in initial inspection?
Yeah. So it's to cover the cost of the initial review,
Inspection.
inspections.
Take out the word above noted.
Right.
Put in initial.
Right,
Per the respected Mr. Bolton that I always listen to.
right. To
Yes.
cover the cost of the initial inspection.
He doesn't listen to me, but
Okay, we can do that.
I've got hearing aids trying to listen.
maybe I probably need him, so
Hold them
that's
up
all
a
right.
little, I guess.
And then add these other points that the chief,
Yeah, but this isn't the place to add those other points to, isn't there another
No.
section?
Yeah, there is. And
oh, did I not copy it?
There's another section on the cistern design. This is on cistern, like, this has nothing to do with the design, this is just the
Oh,
process.
this is,
Would it be in here?
yes.
you're into 8.13.
8.13 is it section design?
It'd be really nice if he'd have been nice and said 8.13.1 should state such and such.
Shit, hard time getting to put that together.
Well,
Well, I can put it that way. And I can just do a rough draft of it and come and bring it to the next meeting.
Yeah, it needs to be merged
so
into 8.1.
8.13.3, the cistern must have minimum usable capacity of 15,000 gallons available through the suction system. That needs to be changed and may require larger capacity in some applications.
Right. That's what he wants it to say. So that's 18.13.3?
8.13.3.
Okay. And that's note number 4 on his email.
Yes, I'm just trying to, reading through and trying to figure out where these go.
Yeah.
Not sure I'm gonna find everything.
That state fire code, see, we didn't reference that at all, so that should be probably,
Number 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately you have to renumber all that section, but number
Yeah.
1 ought to be,
Yeah, I can put it in where it fits.
And then the second bullet item should be that old number 3, right?
Yes.
Number 3 needs to be revised. You basically make his first, second, and fourth bullet.
Second, third, and fourth one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All to number
First,
3.
second, first, second, and fourth.
Well, you want to make one, a thing all by itself, right up number 1?
I guess.
Right, so then 2, 3, and 4 will be part of that,
Right.
okay. And then the development of any fire system outside for the purpose of fire protection shall follow. Now, that should be right up there with number 1 as
Let's
well.
make that number 2, to be honest with you.
Right, and then the rest of these can go in with 8, 13, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So we technically going to continue this until next meeting so that you can have that typed up and changed so we know what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
But instead of 9 items to that, now we're going to have 2 more, 11.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering if that system shall be sized according to state code and that other thing about the NFPA should be right in the header where it
That is,
says
yeah.
the town of Weare is the ultimate owner
Oh,
and
yeah, it could be right
in
in
the first
header.
paragraph, rather than 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. I'll revise it.
Driveways. What are we reviewing driveways again for? That
Because
was a huge discussion we already talked about.
it's not really revising it, I think it's more I need clarification. I don't know how much you really want to do tonight, but you don't have to do the whole list.
I think we got to get through zoning and that's driveways.
So on this driveway,
That's a zoning ordinance, so you understand.
what's that? What's that?
The 150 feet is in the zoning ordinance.
It's on the driveway.
Yes, in the zoning ordinance.
Yes.
Okay.
Why? Are you not doing this now?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
No, I just want clarification because we need to be consistent. This driveway one or the zoning ordinance says 150 feet, then you'll need to meet with the fire board, Board of Fire Ward. And then there's a driveway instructions that goes with the driveway permit itself. It's right attached.
Oh,
That says 400 feet. And then there was an older one that said 300 feet. So which is it? They both need to say the same thing.
I thought we eliminated 8.7.
And this, it was attached to a driveway permit. It's instructions on a driveway. There's 2 or 3 sheets of instructions that go with a driveway
Probably
permit.
never got
Whoa, whoa,
updated.
whoa, whoa.
Probably never got updated from when we did the zoning.
Okay, because this one here says that if your driveway is over 400 feet, must also receive approval from the fire chief. But yet,
Okay, back up. We got a zoning ordinance we can't touch for driveways.
okay,
Or is it
well,
correct?
that's what we're here for, is to make changes,
What
so,
page?
Page 83. I mean, it takes a town vote to do it in the zoning ordinance.
yeah, but you might have another one. Is that another child?
It starts in 82. Article 36 is driveways. That we just did 4 years ago. Boy, that seems hard to believe it's that long ago.
Okay, and what's this one say?
Hundred 50 feet on 36,358 with a turnaround.
Doesn't say anything about,
150 feet, the next one, 150 feet, within
doesn't
150
say
feet
anything
of the
about going
dwelling.
to fire awards.
No, because we got it all in
Right,
this instead.
yes.
The only time it needs to go to the fire wards now, if they don't meet this, they need to go to the fire wards,
If they don't meet,
the zoning article.
okay,
Then they need to go to the fire awards, then they gotta go get a variance.
And they gotta go here, and then they gotta go to
Yeah,
the Board of Selectmen.
No, they can come to us for a conditional use, I'm sorry, not a variance, come to us for conditional use.
So
basi-
the
basi-
driveway, 400, if it's over 400 feet, it requires fire ward meeting, according to the fire chief. And if
No,
you-
he's wrong, it does not.
No, it's all spelled out in the driveway regulations now.
The zoning ordinance does not require any,
So this 8.7 driveway.
The only time it requires that is if the grade gets exceeded.
You check your subdivision regulations for a sec.
8.7,
8.7,
right there, yes.
does it say driveways?
It says driveways.
Does the last sentence say, any driveway over 400 feet must also receive approval from the fire chief?
No, it says a permit shall be obtained from the town road agent for the construction of a driveway connecting to any designated class 5 or proposed public road. Final driveway acceptance shall rest with the town road agent. Fire chief and fire ward is not mentioned in that part, that section.
As long as they meet this,
They meet
and that's why we wrote this. So if they meet
And
this,
we-
they don't
we-
need to
we
go to the
went-
fire wards.
And Chief Bezina and us went through this
More
ma-
than once.
Yes. That's the
Okay.
reason I have his email address.
Yeah,
We went through this a
so
lot.
no more,
Don't need to go to the fire wards unless they aren't meeting this. If they aren't meeting the zoning ordinance, they gotta go to the fire wards and they gotta come to us for conditional use. Oh, I'm gonna take all that back right now.
Where were you at?
36.2 in the zoning ordinance, any driveway permit must be obtained from the code enforcement officer for every driveway, and any driveway over 400 feet must also receive approval from the fire chief. Okay,
okay.
400 feet, you go to the fire wards.
But then if you meet
That's what I've
these,
been doing.
but then if they meet all
Well,
these
and that's what the
geometry
chief said
things.
afterwards. He says, once you do that, you still have to meet the standards of the ordinance. But even if sometimes you have 300 feet, may not trigger you to go to the fire chief, but you can't meet other requirements like the slope or something like
Right.
that, then you go
Then
to
you
the
need to
fire
go
chief.
again,
Right,
right.
but at 400, you gotta go no matter what.
Yes, I think the reason was for the turnarounds, or the
So-
turnout.
So all I need to do is get rid of this sentence in the driveway permit, and I won't be confused. This one in the driveway permit says 150.
Yeah, get rid of that one.
Okay.
Or change it to 400. Or just meet the zoning requirements, because the 400 feet's in the zoning. Article 36.
Because it's just an administrative change in the driveway permit, that's
Right,
all that
right.
is.
Just
I
say-
just wanted interpretation.
Article 36.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that, because
Yeah, let me just do an
there's
administrative,
a lot of things on here that are wrong.
what do you mean?
20 foot of unobstructed travel width. That's not right. It's less than that,
Yeah, it's 16. that's all.
16.
So to revise the driveway permit, though, we don't need a public hearing, do we?
I don't believe so.
If I'm gonna meet what's in the zoning, that
I would not think so, I don't know. I
I'm
don't-
not changing regulations, I'm just changing the actual application to match the zoning regulations.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do anything for that.
Okay, why don't I
I don't
do
believe
that? I'll revise it and then you,
Yeah, I'd revise that to say, see Article 36.
yeah, okay,
And say 400 feet, you gotta go to the fire wards.
okay. And when we double check all the other standards to make sure that they, because you.
I just wouldn't
I'd
say,
take all the standards
I'd
right
take
off.
it right out.
Article 36 has all the
See
standards in
Article
it.
36.
Oh, driveway
I mean-
permit specifications, cross it all out?
Yeah, because Article 36
Oh,
is,
okay, yeah. Well, that makes it a lot easier.
I mean, unless you want to copy this whole page,
No, no,
Both
but
sides.
I'll, when I have some downtime, I'll
why,
put,
why put some of them in and not have the complete ones? 'Cause then
Yeah.
it's
I need to-
misleading at best.
I need to match it, but, okay. And then there was another piece of paper that, we had already changed it, but that's at 300 feet. So when I first started, it was 150, 300. Okay,
Okay,
that takes care of driveway.
now we're on to zoning. You want to talk about campers?
Do you wanna wait, or do you wanna continue? It's already scheduled for January 9th, but if you want to,
Can we make changes
Can we
effective
make,
January 9th?
can we make changes January 9th, or does it have to be,
Spelling and commas only.
yeah.
Yeah, what?
yeah, was not an appropriate answer to that question. I think. Get your little calendar back out again.
Yeah. think that was the last, wasn't January 9th the last meeting? Because the meeting that we were at, it was me, Bruce, and Chuck, and we didn't have. January 7th, the last date for the planning board to hold the first public hearing on proposals to adopt amend zoning.
Yes, so the 9th is too
Building
late.
code or,
No, this is the
No.
first public hearing.
this is the first. The
No, no,
9th is
but-
the last day to hold the first public hearing.
The 7th is a, was the last day to hold the first public hearing?
January 7th, the last date for the planning board to hold the first
Yeah.
public hearing on proposals to adopt or amend.
But can we continue a hearing
Yeah.
until the 9th? And still,
Yeah, last date for planning board to hold the final public hearing on proposals is January 21st.
well,
But we weren't meeting the 21st, we were meeting the 23rd. So January 9th is basically the last time that you can
no.
hold the first
We'd have to-
hearing.
So we, that,
Yes.
Then when you meet again, you can make minor changes. Right? Am I interpreting that
we're
right?
busy January 9th, aren't we?
January
No,
9th is a
23rd is-
workshop.
23rd
You've got
we're-
one.
23rd, we're really busy.
23rd, you got 6 cases.
Yeah.
But
So,
but the 9th, you have a workshop with this, amendments, and one hearing for Peacock Hill. So we can do a couple of more, or
don't we have to have any zoning orders we're gonna change almost perfect tonight? In other words,
to get it ready for the warrant article?
yes.
Yes. And then finalize it, if you have to finalize anything, it's gonna be on the 9th.
Let's keep going.
So this-
Campers,
Campers.
Page 9.
Yes.
There's 2, that's for Chuck. That's for Bruce.
Don't get any.
So there's actually 2 here, so because there could, yep, so what's in the zoning ordinance now is,
What are we talking about? Campers?
campers, yeah, and it's crossed off, so just go to the next page where it says campground on the zoning ordinance.
Ah,
And then on page 17, it says travel trailer. I just don't think there's enough guts in that to say that you can't live in your camper full-time, which we do have an issue. So when I have to send out a notice that you can't live in your trailer or your camper full-time use, I usually have to quote the RSA 216I13, which is on your RSA. I'm just giving you a gist of the issues here.
You know, we have to quote. You talk about the water supply part of it?
216I:13,
Oh, coal.
yeah. So if you're placed on a parcel of land with a camper and you're there for more than 7 days in a calendar year, then you're responsible to file with the town
7 days?
to make sure that's the RSA.
That's 7 days total too, that's not even 7 consecutive days, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so what are you saying we have the issue with? We got campground.
This camp is on private lot that there for a lot longer, or if not, there full-time. And it just would be easier if it had a, the guts of that ordinance, in the zoning ordinance, that says that you can't, I don't know how to word it, but you can't live in your camper full-time. You can't have your children attend schools, you can't register a car if you live in a camper ground. It's illegal to live in a camper full-time. Or is this enough of a guts to enforce that? I couldn't find anything in the ordinance. The campground is the only thing you defined, and that's just regulated by the RSA that you have.
So,
And then travel trailer. Says temporary occupancy and having no foundation.
so all they need to do is have some way of getting rid of the waste and hope they can stay there forever,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay,
'Cause
per the RSA.
right, for the hours. But it has to be with town approval.
Well, if you have a septic system hooked to a trailer,
They're gonna have to get a building permit to build a septic system.
or you have a holding tank,
Yeah, we don't issue any holding tanks anymore. Oh, you know, an existing lot has a holding tank that they're using?
put it in the septic tank, and somebody comes along and pumps it out.
Yeah, they say they do that, but you know that doesn't happen. Somebody,
The health officer, I don't have time to go, to go check on
I'm
that
just saying,
either.
if you read the regulation, if you have something, you can stay there. So, okay.
It's just, it's an enforcement nightmare, the way it is now. Unless I'm missing something where it would be easier to enforce.
What, there are RSAs that you can enforce?
That 216 one that you're,
it's number 13 right here.
Yeah. I must have that.
Yeah, that's right.
260?
Yeah, it's 21613, next page.
yeah, it's the RSA about campgrounds itself.
What do our zoning words say anything about these things, other than a definition?
I couldn't find anything. Not with any guts to it anyways.
Don't know where it would be.
Yeah, I couldn't find
There'd have to
anything.
be something at the beginning, obviously.
When I send my violation notices, I try to quote all the ordinance.
So we want a recreational vehicle?
Well, is that travel trailer according to the zoning ordinance? Would that
Yeah, but
work?
the recreational vehicle in the state RSA is pretty broad. It counts tent trailers, pickup campers, vans.
The other thing, I don't know if I made a copy of it, the other thing, though, is a conflict with other regulation or ordinance. When any provision of this ordinance is in conflict with state law or local regulation, the more stringent provision shall apply. That's a matter of an opinion, though. I would have to go back to the RSA 216 on campgrounds.
It's not a campground.
Exactly. And the reason it's not a campground is because of that one little paragraph in there that says if you're there for more than 7 days, you gotta notify the town.
No, it's not a campground because you don't have a septic system. Per RSA, the .4
Well,
one.
what if some lots do?
You go here, it says.
Because they never got around to building their house, but they have a septic system there.
So something grand.
In your partial exception, in your 216I13 says except as provided in 216.4.2.
I'm sorry?
It says except as provided in RSA 216I42. That one says a septic discharge wastewater shall be discharged from recreational vehicles or portable toilets into this portable sanitary service vehicles, individual sewage disposal system connections or sanitary stations. So if you have some way to get rid of your septic, You can stay there per the RSA without town approval.
Yeah, but that is defining septic disposal systems in recreational campgrounds and parks, not individual campers on a private
It
lot.
says in 216I13, except as provided in RSA 216I42, this chapter shall not apply.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. So I'm
So
still
if
going back to that.
So if you go back to.
Still going back to that
So if you
article.
have
Yep.
septic, you don't, that, you can stay there forever for the state. Right?
Yes, it does sound like that.
Okay. So now what do you want to do?
I want to not allow that.
I knew that. So do you have any way of doing it? So you have any idea how we're gonna do this?
I like simple wording. I like it to keep simple. I just don't know where you would put it, or.
I think,
Or right under the definition of campground.
well, for one,
It,
I think we need to change our travel trailer definition to be recreational vehicle to coincide with this.
travel trailer, you want to match. You want to match the RSA?
Yes.
Okay. Can do that. And it's called recreation and vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go back to the zoning ordinance,
It's page 17.
I mean, so even if you went under your definition of campground, you can define camper and just put the sentence not allowed as a full-time residence. Under recreational vehicle, travel trailer, however you wanna call it, not allowed as a full-time.
Well, I would prefer to be in
So I don't know
the,
where else you would put it. Where are you?
I'm in the uses allowed in the residential district.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you're limited, you'd have to put that sentence in every district.
In 3.
if we put in a definition, wouldn't it be
You
better?
got all your villages, your commercial, your industrial.
We can't do commercial, but yeah, that's true.
If you
I
put-
think it's strange that if you're gonna go to the zoning ordinance and you're gonna say, okay, what are my permitted uses? Poof. Single and two-family dwellings, detached garages, other type of structures, e.g. greenhouses, breezeways. Poof, I can put in a travel trailer, what's the problem? It says so, I can't, it doesn't say I can't do it. If you go to not permitted use, it doesn't say I can't do it, so obviously I can do it. I gotta go to the definitions to find out I can't do something?
Yeah, I know, I don't know.
That's
See,
a
why-
really weird way of trying to find,
That's why I'm saying I don't know how
that's a
to.
strange place to put a not permitted use.
Okay.
I always have had the trouble with the driveway.
Well, that, it's not a non-permitted use, it's a
Sure it
limited
is.
use. They can occupy it for so many days a year.
I want,
Seven.
it's gotta say full-time residents.
It's,
They can camp on the weekends, they can camp from May 1st to October 1st, according to the
Right.
campground rules. They just can't live there, establish residency, register a car, put their kids in school, not pay taxes,
Well, who said
put a
they weren't paying, who's
driveway
saying they
in.
weren't paying taxes?
not paying taxes.
Why
Well, they
not?
pay taxes on a camper, or they, if
a
they,
lot.
if
A
they
lot.
don't register the camper, they pay their taxes. Only if there's another structure on it.
So they can put campers, RVs on those lots, you just can't occupy them full-time.
Right. And you can use your lot as recreational camping, but you
Right.
can't use it full-time. Full-time is the key word, or permanent residence, or, I don't know.
where do we say the other uses are not permitted?
I know, but look at Article 6, bona fide gifts deleted in its entirety.
Yeah.
Can you add something to Article 6 now that something's been,
No, but we can make an Article 37 in the back. Like we did driveways, we added driveways at the end a couple years ago. No, we can't stick in Article 6. Because then anybody looking at old minutes will see Article
Yeah.
6 is now,
well, the only thing to do is just makes it difficult to add it to every district. And that's a lot to, if you think of how you word it in the warrant articles, that's a lot to vote
I
on.
think if you just change that travel trailer to the recreational vehicle, which is a broader definition,
Yeah,
and then just put the use limitations for recreational vehicle, non-full-time use, intended for non-full-time use only, or something, or however you want to word it.
see, that's in the definition again.
I know. But it's a definition of the recreational vehicle. You're not defining a zone, you're defining the vehicle, the structure, whatever you want to call it.
I still think it's very strange to go to Article 17 and see permitted uses. And
Yeah.
well, I don't even see non-permitted uses for that matter, but
Maybe that's what you need, non-permitted use.
they're here someplace,
What, non-permitted uses?
yes.
They're in each district. Like right here, non-permitted uses in the manufacturing district.
Find one for residential agricultural.
What, non-permitted uses?
Because we don't say non-permitted, because if it's not permitted, you assume it's, if it's not in the
If it's
permitted
not
use-
listed as permitted, it's assumed to be non-permitted.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right, prohibited, yeah.
So all we gotta do is change the definition of a travel trailer to say it is not considered a single or two-family dwelling, and poof, it's not permitted in the zoning.
For full-time use.
That's the only way I could figure it. I don't know how else to do it. Unless you add a section to zoning districts, Article 13, you got your zoning districts, and
Yeah, we don't want to do that, but
there is no camping district.
So you're gonna take the definition out of the RSA, is that what I'm hearing?
So we're gonna take
getting-
the definition-
I'm getting on board with him here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
For the definition of travel trailer, you're gonna change it to
recreational vehicle,
recreational vehicle, and you're gonna take it out of here, right?
Mhm. It's on the first page, second half of the page,
Recreational trailer, C, no, Roman numeral 8.
8.
Are you gonna, okay, so you're gonna retitle it. So the warrant article will say you're gonna eliminate the definition for travel trailer and insert a definition for recreational vehicle
Right.
to state da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A, B, C, D, right?
Right. And in the heading,
So we could say, the definition could say recreational vehicle is not considered a single-family or two-family dwelling.
it is not intended for full-time occupancy.
it is, shall be
Right.
designed primarily not for use as a permanent dwelling, but as a temporary dwelling for recreational, camping, travel, or seasonal use. It's the last sentence on that. Recreational trailer. That might be it.
Yeah, it's number C, right?
Yep.
It shall be designed primarily.
Okay, but I still don't see how that's not allowed in our zoning yet, because single and two-family dwellings are allowed. So isn't a temporary dwelling allowed?
Well, they can use it as a temporary dwelling. They just can't live in it. A temporary dwelling isn't 12 months out of the year, though.
Okay.
Right,
I'm
and I
good.
could still go back to my 7-day thing. Or if somebody comes in and says, can I live in my camper while I'm building? And as long as I have all the provisions, we give them permission to do that.
Mhm.
So I can still use both, but that will give me a little more,
Leg to stand on.
a leg to stand on to help me with my code enforcement. That would be-
Okay, so I'm building a house, and I
Yeah.
say I want to put up live in my RV while I'm building my house. It takes me 10 years to build my house.
I know, some,
I'm building myself, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of money.
As long as you're showing progress, constant progress, I don't
Okay.
know if there's anything you do about it.
right. And
Just
you
making
are
sure.
disposing waste in gray water
Properly.
properly, and
Yeah.
you have water source, and,
Yeah, I'll put my well into my leach field, one of the first things I do. So I have water and I can go to the bathroom before I start building my house, yeah.
yeah.
Just making sure you're all right with it.
Well, that's like a worst-case scenario, somebody takes 10 years, but I suppose.
I do know people have done that.
So I think what I would do is give the special permission that, this would have to be reviewed every
They gotta
year.
come back, just like the
We
building
have to come
permit, they
back-
gotta,
We gotta renew it, and
Right.
by the
Just-
third year, I'm gonna say, yeah, no, this is not working.
they gotta renew a building permit every year, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
but I think that takes care of it if I do it that way,
so we are going to propose to get rid of the definition for travel trailer,
yes,
amend Article 4 point whatever it is.
yes.
Making sure we get the wording right, so next time we don't have to change anything. We're gonna make
So this is a zoning
gonna
amendment,
amend
has to be
Article
on a warrant article, okay,
we're going to amend Article 4.1
4.1,
to delete the definition for travel trailer and add the definition of recreational vehicle. Per RSA 216-I:1, Roman numeral 8. Right?
8C.
8,
8.
you're gonna add 8, you're gonna add the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
8,
8,
A, B, C.
A, B, C,
A,
yeah.
B, C, D.
yeah, yeah.
So next time we get here, or January
January
12th, or whatever it is, January, whatever day it is, the next meeting, we'll have a piece of paper that's gonna have that written in it.
Yep,
So we can say, yes, we're all gonna vote on that,
Yes.
yes, it's gonna go.
yes,
Okay, because we have to have it word for word, we can't have,
right, to do as the warrant article.
yes.
Yep. Yeah, Naomi was just starting to work the warrant article. So I mean,
Task it, I'm glad, you're supposed to have you're supposed to have a current zoning?
This is what it's supposed to be, right here.
Okay, I'm just asking, okay.
don't start with
Why? What are you missing?
Go to Article 3 page 11. Maybe it's page 12 in yours. That should not be there.
that. What?
313.3?
313.3?
That is specifically to the Aquifer Protection District, never should have been meant to be in 3.
Is it in yours?
Yes. I've said something 4 times to get it moved. Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Where are you?
Article 3.13.3, criteria for granting a conditional use permit.
Are you in the subdivision?
No.
Three, 13.3, criteria, yeah?
If you read that, that should be in the Aquifer Protection District, not there.
Oh, do you want to
Because
move it?
we have different reasons for granting, criteria for granting a conditional use permit for a driveway is different than conditional for granting use for a aquifer protection paving.
Do you want to move it while you were doing changes?
Yeah, I should go back to my notes and figure out where the hell I wanted it. What's your protection, 27? Something like that? Oh, that's cluster.
But this is under the whole section, conditional use.
Yes, that's not where it should be.
Criteria for granting a conditional use.
Should not be there.
The criteria is listed under each area that the conditional use is being applied for.
2913, page 48.
The criteria varies.
Thereabouts.
For, like if you need one for a driveway, it's different than you need one for a
Oh, okay, yeah.
buffer.
So 2913? So move that to 2913?
What do you got, 2 sets of zoning?
I think it
Yeah,
should be
this is an old
29,
set.
yeah, boy.
This is-
I grabbed the wrong
2913,
folder. I
8?
didn't bring mine.
This'll screw you up, this one.
That's what I got. That must be my problem.
How do I go from 2913.8 to 2914?
That's 2913, yeah.
Yeah, okay. 2913.8, you want it? Or should it be right under the title, conditional uses?
Can make it 2913.8, yeah, I suppose so.
No, the 2913 is the uses you need to, the uses you can apply for a conditional use permit.
Number 13 says,
Yeah, it should be right after 2913, and then just bump down that second paragraph. Make that the first paragraph, and then conditional use is the second paragraph. Doesn't need a number as long as it's another paragraph.
Oh, make another paragraph under
Just-
conditional,
yeah.
2913.
Right, put it, 2913 will be what you're talking about,
So
and
you
then,
you insert it between what we see as 2913 and
Yes.
13.1, yes.
so there's just another paragraph. that's
Yes.
all. You don't have to number it, so that you're not screwing up the sequence of numbers. Okay? Does that work?
Much better, yes.
Okay,
I think I've said something for 4 years about that.
okay.
Maybe we get done this time.
Yeah, the next one was just to see where, or what you want to do for tiny houses and Airbnb.
You want my professional opinion on Airbnb? We should leave it alone.
Because there's been
It's
a
been going on forever. Why are we stopping it?
committee, there's been a committee assigned to look at these through the state, so.
People have been renting their houses out for weekend use for ages. Why are we talking about it today?
yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
I wouldn't want
Most towns feel the same way.
I don't wanna
I'm just
stop
making
them.
sure.
How are you gonna say people in Horace Lake can't rent their house out for a weekend now? Or people in Pisaki or whatever that,
Right,
and there's no need of people registering them. I mean, we don't have licenses for anything else in this town. There's no hawker's license or anything like that.
and tiny houses, if ICC starts to recognize a different square footage of living space and they qualify tiny houses, take it up then, or do you
It
want?
becomes
it'll probably be mandated we do it when they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if you wanted me to jump on some of the research now, so, okay. All right, so then we're going into the non-conforming, this is in, I think this has been discussed before. I'll take care of all your paperwork after.
Non-conforming.
Oh, 3.5?
Yes, we already got it.
Okay.
You stapled to the other one.
Yes, I made a mistake and stapled to the other one. So, non-conforming, I just want to know if that is specifically to single-family only? Or could a structure on that non-conforming use land?
Oh, you talk about garages, detached
Correct, correct,
utility, auxiliary structures?
correct. Can they also be part of this ordinance where they would have different setbacks or can be rebuilt and, you know? Or is it specific to single-family residents only?
Well, the way it's written, it's,
The way it's written is on a single-family only.
Is it?
well, that, I think we can remove that, now that we're here. Well, I don't know, maybe you don't want to. We allow 50 feet of frontage on lots now. We didn't up until a few years ago. But I suppose we'll just leave it there, because if it's a small lot, only 50 feet of frontage is
Right.
still okay.
In the last part of that section, it says an existing structure currently located within the front. So I could interpret that structure as anything.
Yes, you could.
Yes.
Then how come it's, the
No.
first sentence is only to a single family and not a structure?
Because I assume the first sentence is saying it's an empty lot. And this single-family residence may be constructed. Yeah, it's not already there.
Okay, so that would be the difference, okay? Because that would have to meet that table 1.1, which is your,
But can other structures use to reduce setbacks,
No,
like a barn or a garage?
Nope.
No.
okay,
not the way I read it.
okay. And then keep that existing structure currently
Yeah, if you currently have a barn in the front setback, you can.
Well,
rebuild
yeah,
a
because
barn.
most of them do have attached garage or attached barn,
Yeah.
it could be attached to the house,
I
it says
mean, how
structure.
many, most old houses are built close to roads
Mhm.
with the barn right beside it. and-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it was a driveway at one point.
Yeah,
yeah, and you don't wanna shovel along sidewalk, you wanna walk out you wanna get off your horse and walk in the house, you don't wanna walk 100 feet.
right, right.
I think that's fine.
Okay. Cool.
Wait,
Done.
So what are you saying now? The existing language works,
I like it.
okay, and what does it mean?
It means if you have an empty lot, you can build a single-family house on it,
Yeah,
and your setbacks are reduced
Right,
to
I understand that.
that.
If it was,
Structure-
if
how
the lot
about-
was,
If you have an empty lot and you wanna put a house and a garage on it, the garage has to meet the setbacks per table 1-1. Cause that's an accessory structure. If you wanna put a swimming pool in there, you gotta meet the setbacks, the bigger setbacks. The garage has to be
It says it
bigger.
shall be not be more non-conforming. That's in the front setback, an existing structure, the front setback, so that's any structure.
Oh, that's if it's already there.
You're talking the last
Yes.
one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the barn, if you got a barn or anything, house, barn, swimming pool, whatever,
Barn with mural on it, it's already within the setback.
yeah, you can rebuild it in place.
What we used to call it in other towns is that it stays in line.
Yeah.
If it stays in line,
You
then
can't-
it's
you
okay.
can't be more non-conforming.
But if it's a new structure and it's a detached garage out onto the left of the side of it or whatever, that new garage has to meet setbacks right now as today's standards.
That seems kind of left-handed. Well, I guess if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it meant other structures, not just single family, so. Okay, that's fine. Okay, this one is just,
5.1.
yep, it's, are you on the
Why
next
are you
one?
making all these copies? We got a book.
I don't know.
Chuck doesn't have a book.
Because I
Chuck doesn't have a
highlighted it.
book? Yeah, he does.
Because I highlighted it, and Gwen doesn't have her book either.
I have my book.
This, I think, is just an administrative change, because your penalty and enforcement, it doesn't match when you go over to page 17, 512, violation penalties, reference New Hampshire RSA 673, 15, 17. I have that in my
Yes,
book here.
I see it.
Yeah, it's not. To show you.
You're saying you want to change,
Well, it should
5.1.2?
reference, wait a minute, I'm getting there. Six 73, what did I say it was? 1517? 67315 is a power to compel witness attendance. 67317 is open meetings and records.
Oh, so it should be
Oh,
the
I see.
670,
It's the wrong RSA.
so it should be 67617.
Right, so it should be this RSA
Typo.
right here. Right,
okay.
so under section 9, penalties and enforcement, you should you should put the sentence in there that it refers to RSA 67617, and then delete 512. That's all that is.
Why don't we just change 512 to say 676?
Like, okay, either or. But you've got two different paragraphs in there, so I didn't know if you. why
I
did-
know.
It would be, you're right, it would be easier just to,
It'd be easier to me to just say
Sure.
67617.
yep, let's just correct 512 and leave the other one
Yeah.
alone. Got it.
Keep it simple.
Yep, correct. So it's 67617.
Oh, boy, we want to get into accessory dwelling uses, you really wanna go there?
The only thing about accessory dwelling use,
I need to take a recess before we get to that one, 'cause that could be a long conversation.
no.
Yeah, cause I got things in my mind about that. too.
No, because it's the state RSA, so you left a line in there by mistake, I think, so it's
It's
just,
very well, I did time out. I've been waiting for a while.
Chuck too.
I'll join them.
Well, you might want to you might want to go outside, because
Find a tree.
seemed to be something wrong with the
My father
bathroom.
used to say, I gotta see a man about a horse.
That's right.
Yeah.
You win.
I need a drink of water. Oh, goodness. Well, we only have 2 more minutes, so.
Yeah.
So we say the RSA says you can't require the door?
Yes. Did I copy the RSA right to it?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't have yours yet? Here. Because I put the RSA right with that. So when the state did this back in 2017, when they wrote the ADU, excuse me, you changed your ordinance to meet that new state.
Says an interior door shall be provided between the principal unit and the accessory dwelling, but a municipality shall not require it remain unlocked. So you can have the interior door, just can't require it remain unlocked.
Right, but the use says at least one interior connecting door or other access for persons to pass between.
Oh, the old people had to recess? What'd you hand out that I missed?
Interior doors.
Interior doors.
Interior doors.
I don't think there's a problem with having an interior door there. We don't say it has to be locked or unlocked, or even have a lock.
It doesn't imply that, though?
No?
Well, for persons to pass between, tells me that it has to be unlocked.
Why?
No.
My house is locked right now, and I can pass between that door, 'cause I got a key.
So your ordinance says that I have to have an access for someone to pass through my house.
See, the municipality cannot require it remain unlocked. So someone can lock it, they can lock it if they want to. I mean, you can, it's a pass door, but you can lock it if you want. But we don't require that it be unlocked or locked.
No,
We just say it
no.
has to be a door.
Right, but
You know, both of those bathrooms are inoperable,
I know,
so I'm gonna head home.
okay,
Why are they inoperable?
There's plumbing issues.
it's plumbing issues.
I just used one of them.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's on the floor.
Did you use it in the dark?
The other one is worse.
Oh, no.
oh,
Little treat, You
no.
wanna go down there?
I just wasn't paying attention, but I didn't, the light was on. I didn't hit the floor, no.
So,
I'll have to go check it out.
So at least one connecting door or other access for persons to pass between. That, to me, that sentence says I have to allow somebody in my house, no?
No, it just means you need a door.
Okay.
Yes, need a door.
So okay. These, so you're only doing attached, right?
We only allow it attached, yeah.
Why?
I know, don't ask me. I'm for detached also.
Then you can't have that door.
No interior door if you have a detached.
Are you gonna continue?
We're gonna have to, because you're leaving. Then we don't have a quorum.
Keep going tonight? No, we can't.
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. Not that I care, but I am gonna leave.
So I gotta quit.
So do we want a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Should we continue this? Because this one is null and void.
No, let's, why don't you note that Chuck's leaving, we do not have a quorum. We stayed to discuss some stuff.
Yeah, we only have one more.
Well, actually,
Okay.
actually, we could make the meeting over and stay and discuss off the record, I guess,
Well,
right?
why don't I just
We don't have a
suck it up
quorum. Bruce and I, and you got through to us.
10 minutes? 10 minutes, we're gonna finish it?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll take you up on it.
because that, never mind,
Okay,
never mind ADU, it's null and void, keep it the way it
Because
is.
the only thing we really have to talk about is lot sizing, right?
Well,
The last one, is the last zoning ordinance
the
thing.
certified plot plan,
The zoning ordinance is the last zoning ordinance thing though, right?
yes,
The certified plot plan we can put off till next week.
yes, that's not a zoning one, so let's do that other one that you.
So Article 14.2, and I know everybody's gonna say, no way, we wanna change that.
Yeah,
I'll pass that out anyway.
okay,
This is gonna take Chuck 2 minutes, he's not gonna miss the conversation.
okay.
Chuck's one of the ones that say, yes, we gotta keep it.
So, basically, this one is saying that a duplex needs 10 acres.
Yep,
We know that.
yep.
Okay, I just want to bring it forward because I've been asked to bring it forward, so
Who asked you to bring it forward?
somebody who asked about why do I need 10 acres to do a duplex?
Okay, not an official.
Oh, no,
No, okay, a resident.
yes. A resident and a
Okay.
contractor and a
Okay.
surveyor.
Okay. I understood.
So, but if, that's the gist of it, is, for you need 10 acres just for a duplex.
That's,
But you don't need 10 acres to do a house with an ADU,
No,
I think we ought to make this.
which is a
and
two-family.
I think we ought to make the duplex and the accessory dwelling unit a huge conversation for February. Because I agree with you 100%. I don't see why you need 10 acres for a duplex. And I don't think an accessory dwelling unit needs to be attached.
Why do you want to wait till February?
Because we aren't gonna have time to do this between now, tonight.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
So,
We aren't gonna have
work
time-
on it for
we aren't
next
We aren't
year?
gonna have time to go through all of this being
Yeah.
the 10 acres. I think somebody else is gonna wanna be here.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack should be here.
So let's put it off until next year. We'll talk about it during the summer.
No, let's do it in February.
Okay,
Because as Chuck has pointed out several times, you can't get much done in the summertime.
February.
I won't be here, for your best bet.
And, yeah,
Best bet.
yeah, most of us like to do other things in the summertime. But,
Oh, you're saying February, right?
yeah, if you did January, February, March,
Yeah.
we're cooped
That would
in.
be a good time.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the plot plan
can't
thing
go-
next.
yeah.
we can't go on fishing trips, we can't do things like that then. Yes, let's do the plot plans in February.
Yes, because that says NHRLF.
Yes,
No, we gotta do that January 9th.
that's
Yeah.
fine, that, but it's not a zoning ordinance, so we don't
Nope.
have to get it perfect today, so
So
it's
January
ready to
9th will
go.
be the
I
last thing on
can
that.
stay in another few minutes. You got something else you want to address?
No.
We're good,
You're good, okay.
it only took 2 minutes. I declare the meeting over,
January 9th.
it's done. Chuck